You guys, welcome to a video today. In this video, I am going to do a video about, today we're talking about someone. Now, today I'm going to be talking about myself. Yes, this is the truth about its page __. Today we are going to be talking about myself, and I'm going to be doing an expose on myself. This is actually more of an explain my life story here. So yeah, for anyone wondering how am I going to expose myself, I won't really be exposing myself. I will be going into the nitty-gritty of my life. This is basically a draw my life, or I don't really have a piece of paper. So it's going to be let's play Fortnite and explain my life, I guess. So let's do it. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know who I am, hi, I'm Paige. I'm a British gaming YouTuber from England, as you can tell from my accent. But today we're talking about my life. So I am a twin. Let's first talk about childbirth. So I'm a twin, for anyone who didn't know. I'm a twin of a sister. I was born, I'm actually younger than my sister by about an hour. My dad said it was the most Star Wars thing he'd ever seen. But unfortunately, even though that was quite funny of what he had told me, unfortunately the truth behind what had happened was not. Now, no, before anyone's like, oh, was there something bad about why you're a twin? No, pretty much. I'm not going to talk too much because I can't really talk too much because it's kind of their past, and even though, yes, it is my past, I don't want to talk too much about my parents' history. All I'll say is that they had quite a bad, and thankfully they've gotten off of it now, but they had a really bad drug problem. And that led to both me and me and my sister, sorry, both being put into the foster care system at the age of 6 months old. So, and the reason for that was because when eventually there was something up with my sister at the time, they had found out that there were drugs in her system due to my mother, and also my system due to my mother doing drugs while being pregnant with us two. Anyway, let's continue talking about what I'm talking about. Now, I don't want to get too deep. I do want to also quickly state that, yes, there will be a quick disclaimer. There will be talk about drugs, violence, and a few other things in this video, so let's continue talking about it. So yeah, so I grew up in a family of multiple families, actually. So I was born in I'll explain. So I was born in a little city. It's not huge, not like Manchester. I was born in a place called Hull. Now, Hull fucking bombed the fuck out of, not as much as London, but it got fucking blitzed during World War II. And pretty much, yeah, it got blitzed during World War II. It has a huge bridge, which the guy from TGF Bro actually climbed up and then got in trouble by bridge toll takers. So, yeah. But anyway, what's it called? So, yeah, I was born in a family of me and my sister, who are both twins, and my mum and dad. We were both kids. Now, let me explain something for everyone. Now, I was born, even though I sound like a dude, I was born a girl. I was born with female chromosomes. I was born a girl. And then I transitioned later in life, which I'm not going to talk about my trans story because I don't want any dickheads coming in and being like, oh, blah blah blah, pretty much, you know, being the assholes, okay? Because I've noticed that transphobes not only attack trans people, but they also attack cisgendered people. So I'm not gonna give any of them the ammo to attack me. Technically, was trans, but then eventually went to cisgender. So yeah. Okay, so let's explain. Right, let's continue. So yeah, pretty much I was born in Hull to my parents, who I'm not going to state their names because again, for privacy reasons, but yeah. Eventually, in 2005, 6 months after we were born, there was an issue, as I stated, where we were found with drugs in our system as babies. Now, last I checked, babies can't really take drugs on their own volition, and I do swear that I am not, and I was not born a druggie. I am not a druggie, and I was not a druggie at a young age. I swear I was not a drug user at a young age. I could do a drugs test nowadays and it would probably come back clear. Or maybe not. However, I did have to do a drugs test as a baby, and unfortunately it did come back in our system with drugs. Now, we were taken off of our parents due to that, as they were still on it at the time, which thankfully, I want to quickly state this, it's been completely cleared. They are fine, they're off it now. They eventually went through rehab and all this. Okay, let's continue. So, I grew up in care for quite a few years. I moved to a place called Bridlington, which I'm not going to dox myself, but I've lived there for quite a few years now. Not now. I moved from there a while ago. But in 2000 and it was a pretty good gig. They had me, my sister, and then there was 2 other girls that they had lived there as well. So 4 girls in the house. There was me, my sister, and then they had 2 other girls who were a lot older than me, like a lot older. I still speak to both of those. One lives in Hull, the other one actually still lives in Bridlington, which is again, I know Bridlington's like a seaside town. If you've been to the UK and you've been to quite a few seaside towns, you'll probably know Brid. It's in the east of Yorkshire. I live not that far from there, but quite close. But yeah, pretty much. Okay. We're fighting the Elden Ring type boss now. Yeah, bosses in this game have gone from simple bosses to now full-on Elden Ring bosses at this point. But anyway, let's continue. So, yeah, pretty much, we lived in Bridlington for about 7 years, until 2011, I guess. Now, because we had been there for so long, we had something called a legal guardianship, which is a bit like an adoption. A little bit like an adoption. Sort of, kind of, a little bit. It wasn't like a full-on adoption. Apparently what's the difference between a foster child and an orphan? It's a little bit of a difference. That's the reason why I don't like Elden Ring. If you ever vote and think, don't vote for Shadow of the Erd Tree. Okay, anyway, back to what I'm talking about. So yeah, so pretty much so pretty much continuing on what we're talking about. But yeah, so we had like a legal guardianship. We're technically owed that. We weren't actually allowed to take it away from the people who were caring for us. We were under the court of where I live. Well, in guardianship, who are your carers. Who are your carers or guardians, meaning that pretty much they kind of went from carers to borderline full-time parents for us. So yeah. Now they still obviously had like, you know, to follow the rules of like state. No, we've got to follow the state. So technically, we beat him like in Northern Ring. Okay. Anyway, let's go. So yeah, pretty much. But yeah, in 2011, the social services somehow found a way to overrule that. However, that did go into a court case that lasted for quite a while. But me and my sister moved out. Now, we used to go to a place called Respite, which was, I thought at the time, and I noticed I was lied to, and that's why I got mad at the people who were being looked after. Which I thought apparently everyone went through. Turned out, no, that was just some bullshit they made up. But yeah, pretty much my control keeps things. If you keep seeing me go invisible, it's my control's fucked. Anyway, pretty much, yeah. So we were born, not born. Why am I getting we were born? So yeah. So pretty much, we moved to a place called Burton, which is a small little village near a small little village called Driffield, which again is another place quite close to it. So yeah. Anyway, pretty much, we lived there for about 2 weeks until actually we lived to small little town, or village, which I wasn't going to know because it is very small and it is a population of like 21, so I'm not going to say it, but it was a small little village just outside of a town called Beverly, which was a nice place. I've been to Beverly, I've been lying, so I don't think cinema. But yeah, that's the place where the nearest the cinema I go to is, because it's the only fucking good one around here. But yeah, pretty much. We lived there for about. Oh god. We lived there for about. And then we lived in this place for about a year. Then we moved to a place called Driffield, which was a small little town. We lived there till. We lived there until I lived there until 2013. Now, I'm not going to talk about why. Now, it's something that she got over, but it's not something my place to say what it is, especially on YouTube, so I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, so pretty much after that, so yeah, pretty much after that, we eventually were moved from there to a place called Bradford. Now, Bradford, if you guys don't know, is a city in West Yorkshire. It is not a bad city, it's quite nice. But yeah. Yeah, we moved to a place called Bradford. Nice place. I lived there, and then I lived there till 2021. I'll explain why in a memento. In an Uno memento. But yeah, pretty much we lived there from 2013 to 2021. You may know that I have made content. Now, I actually began my YouTube channel living there, in that old house, which I have visited because I did go visit the carers there on occasion, quite a few times. And yeah, pretty much we've often visited them. That they've moved house now, so they don't live in that house, unfortunately, which is quite sad. But pretty much we eventually moved in, and we lived there for quite a few years. They were nice. There was a lot of issues, like the guy she used to live with first, he decided to fuck off, and yeah, a whole thing happened, and I'm not going to talk about it, not my place to say online, but yeah, pretty much after that, not much really happened until 2021, when eventually my parents had, for a few years then, had basically gotten, they got better from there. I'm gonna be honest, I thought we were losing that, but we might still won't, but it depends. But yeah, pretty much they got better. For anyone who knows, as I stated, they had a drug problem. They did eventually get better from their drug problem, and so far and pretty much because of that, they were given permission from. It's a turtle. It's a turtle. If I go to the mouth, is it? Oh, it's a turtle. Apparently, if you shoot this thing, it does nothing. It's quite sad, but well, it's not like a combo where it'll attack you anyway. But yeah, pretty much we were given permission to either stay living with who we were living with at the time, or move back. We then decided to move back with our parents and gave them a chance. So in 2021, we moved back into my parents. Sadly though, my parents lived in a place, they had moved house and lived in a place with worse internet, which you may remember if you've seen me try to live stream while I lived there. And yes, so we lived there for quite a few years. Oh, it's this fucking Billy the Puppet. I keep fucking using that shitty mask. So you keep being a puppet. That mask has made everyone in this game a fucking pussy. But yeah, pretty much, we eventually, thingied. Now I'm not going to talk too much about, I'm just going to, now, let me explain something. So, I'm not going to talk about my private family or anything, or personal family or whatever, due to, I just kind of want to talk about my past, I don't really want to talk about my current, or anything going on current. Most people are, if you ever watch stream by Disney or whatever, you may know, pretty much, in 2000. I won the match. We won. We won. In 2017, not 2017. That's wrong. If you pretty much not long ago, I had a child, and then I had another one. So, for anyone who's wondering, will ever I bring that up? Yes, I will bring that up. But I meant my child actually couldn't live with me because I was too young at the time when she was born. So she was put in care, but my current one I could have to. Anyway, that is that. That's the way. For anyone who's curious about that, that's what I'm talking about there. So, let's talk about back to my life. So yeah. Anyways, we lived with them for quite a while. My sister eventually moved out. She moved into a flat in Beverly, which I don't know what I said, but it's a small town. So yeah, if you live in Beverly, don't track my sister down because that'd be a bit weird. But yeah. And then I moved into not too far away, but I moved into a flat on my own, which yeah. And shows umbrella. That's good. But yeah. Never play one more match. But yeah, but pretty much I played, not played. So yeah, so because I was playing a video game, so I said I played. And I was talking about video games on a video I'm scrapping off. But yeah, pretty much after that we lived in, and then actually now I live by myself, and my sister lives with her boyfriend. I do have a partner, but he doesn't live with me. He lives not that far from me, but yeah. And then my parents still live in the same house that they live in now, so we do go visit them quite often. Thankfully, it's just a train journey to each place. So technically, if I wanted to get, so it's one train journey to my mum's, and then my mum and dad's, and then it's a train journey to my sisters, and then yeah. And that is pretty much it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed learning about my life. Sorry if you didn't care. Sorry if I told you and you didn't really care much about knowing about my life, but at least now you know. So, yeah. But I guess this was technically supposed to be an expose video, so let's start talking about some exposés. Let's expose myself, shall I? So, one thing I'm going to expose myself about is that yeah, it's funny. Not no, but I'm kind of not going. One second. I'm just going to wander in there. Pretty much, you guys may not know this, but I was not the greatest kid in school. I was not the happiest kid in school. And I'm going to talk about this real quick. Now, I have since been see a specialist. Now, originally, I would see a specialist for anger issues at Browning Avenue. I went to see a specialist about autism. Apparently, I don't have that. So yeah. But anyway, pretty much, it turned out that pretty much I was an angry child because of the constant moving around that I've just been talking about and so on, which kind of made sense. And unfortunately, foster care did garner a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety, which is why I am not personally a fan of kids being put into care. That's why I hate when a lot of pro-life people say, "Oh, well, it's fine if you don't want your kids, just put them in care or get them adopted." No, because that fucks up the kid. You don't know because you have never been. These people don't know because they've never been in the care system or anything like that. But it does not help. It does not help. Like in anything, it makes it worse. So unless you're wanting to fuck up a kid, unless you're wanting to fuck up a kid's life, you are just, unless you put them in the foster care system as a bitch, you try to fuck up their life. That is my opinion of that. As someone who's gone through the care system, I can tell you that now. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, pretty much, I was quite a violent child as a kid, especially in school. I often saw teachers and stuff like that. So yeah, there we go. There's an expose on me there. I was a violent child, and I actually, because of that, and because I couldn't handle like a mainstream school because of my anxiety, I was actually put into it wasn't a special needs. Well, it was. Pretty much the only school that they could find at our social services at the time could find. I was in the social services class. I was in the social services at the time because I was in care. Oh, she's gonna kill me. 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 Because I was in care at the start of the time, was pretty much. Oh, God, there's so much damage. Pretty much that. Yeah, I was in care at the time, and and so obviously I was under social services and stuff like that. And so pretty much the only place they could find at the time, sorry, I was trying to concentrate. The only place they could find was it was like it was a mixture of like, it was like a mixture of that and a mainstream school. It was basically a school that I went to just because I couldn't handle, like the school, I went to a mainstream high school, but I couldn't, because of my anxiety, which had garnered from me growing up in the foster care system, and I had a fear of motorways especially because so did my sister actually. Well, my sister was actually a little bit better than I was with this. Pretty much we had been moved like quite far, quite drastically. We moved like to we had moved to Bradford without being told prior. Like they literally told us till like last second. And so pretty much because of that, I actually didn't trust. I did not like going on the motorway because I didn't trust it. Now I know a fear of the motorway might be a fear of motorways, or for anyone in the US, the highway might be quite a weird phobia. It was because of obviously whenever I was going on a motorway, even if it wasn't with like a social worker or something, and it was worse when it was with a social worker, was because I was always too worried that we're just gonna get moved randomly, and that was kind of a fear that happened, and that's why I never trusted social services at the time and stuff like that. But yeah, but anyway, pretty much. Oh god. God, I wish Shakedown was just still kept in this fucking game. But yeah, pretty much I had like that kind of fear, and so that was kind of the anxiety that caused me not to be able to handle a mainstream school, because I couldn't handle big, and also that also gave me, I've got road anxiety issues, which is another thing, and that is all due to the past, especially when it comes to social services and the foster care system. It garnered me depression and anxiety, which I am still currently going through. I'm on antidepressants meds, and meds that help my meds that help my depression and anxiety, so yeah. Now, before I was like, oh, why are you trying to bum me out? I'm not trying to bum you out, that sounds really weird, now I say it like that. But I'm not trying to make anyone upset or like be like, oh damn, shit, fuck. It's more of just letting you know, I'm just kind of exposing myself pretty much. This is supposed to be an expose video, and it's more of a talk about my life type video. Now this is actually a reason why I never really probably had like as rough as not a greater upbringing as I had. As you know, like a lot of people say, oh well, these people looked after you, but it's like, yeah, I'm not saying they didn't. I've thanked all these people who I've talked about in this video for looking after me and my sister, but the bit it was hardly forever much time, apart from Bradford, the people in Bradford, which were for 8 years, and the people in Redwood were 7. It was a very drastic time in my life. So yeah, but that's pretty much all I kind of want to talk about. You know, I don't want to. Before I end this video, I want to quickly explain. No, I don't want any sympathy from anyone. That is not why I'm making this video. Before anyone starts claiming, oh, it's for sympathy and stuff like that. No, you know, I legitimately just made this video because I just wanted to make a video of exposing myself. I guess another expose video was, another bit of my expose before I actually do this video was, I got into a fight once. I lost the fight. So, I would not recommend getting in fights with people. I got into another fight, I won the fight. You know, lost one fight, I won another. So yeah. So there we go. I guess that's another thing I could explain. But yeah, but I do want to say, just in case anyone was curious and I wanted to learn about my life, then there you go. I do appreciate everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the win I just got, and yeah, so also for anyone wondering where this video started, if I'm correct, this video started when I just got rebooted, I think, so yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed, thank you all for watching, and I shall see you all in the next one. Good.